In the shadowy streets of East London's Limehouse district, a solitary figure moves before dawn breaks. Mary Smith walks her daily route, wielding a long bamboo pole with a rubber tip. She stops beneath a window, extending the pole to tap on the glass, rousing sleeping occupants with her rhythmic knocks. Each tap stirs the residents from slumber, prompting a sleepy wave in response. Mary is no ordinary woman. She is a human alarm clock. But in the span of a single generation in America, all of it vanished. Strangers in black suits arrived, taking the body and charging your family a small fortune for what had once been an intimate and familial act. The event that made this transformation possible wasn't a medical breakthrough or a cultural awakening. To grasp the enormity of this shift, one must look back to 1850 in rural Pennsylvania. A farmer named Elias rises before dawn as he always does. By the time sunlight filters through the trees, his father has passed away, the heart giving out silently in the night. His wife begins heating water on the stove, while his mother fetches a clean shirt and trousers. Across ancient civilizations, chickens were kept, and their early morning cries heralded dawn. Roosters crowed not at sunrise, but before, their internal clocks more precise than those of humans. Researchers confirmed this in 2013, demonstrating that roosters crowed on schedule, regardless of light cues. The Greeks revered the rooster, associating it with Hermes, while humor found its way into Aristophanes' plays. This was not a primitive tradition practiced by a people who didn't know better. This was the norm. Across America, across Europe, families managed their dead as they managed their births. You did it at home because there was literally nowhere else to turn. Handing your father's body to a stranger felt. Suddenly, the world demanded more precise awakenings. A Roman soldier on night watch couldn't wait for dawn, nor could a monk praying in the stillness of night rely on sunlight. The need for artificial wake-up calls emerged. In 380 BC, Plato faced a dilemma at the academy. His students arrived late to dawn lectures. Unfazed, he devised a solution. Plato engineered one of the earliest mechanical alarm clocks, a large ceramic vessel, a clepsydra, filled with water throughout the night. As dawn approached, the rising water triggered a mechanism, releasing lead pellets that clattered down a copper tube, waking the slumbering scholars across the room. A brilliant mind had created a Rube Goldberg machine. In winter, the frozen ground provided more time, but meant the body could remain in an outbuilding for weeks until the earth thawed enough for burial. Women orchestrated this entire operation. Those who delivered babies in the community were often the same who prepared the dead. They knew how to position limbs before rigor mortis set in. They knew which herbs masked the smell and which prayers to whisper over the washing. Children were present for it all. A 6-year-old in 1850 would witness their grandmother's body being washed, would sit in the parlor with the corpse during the wake, and would follow behind the homemade wooden coffin to the family bed. A tall tallow candle marked with horizontal lines served as a timekeeper. As the flame melted the wax past a strategically placed iron nail, the nail would drop, clattering onto a metal tray below. Alfred the Great, the King of England, famously utilized calibrated candles to segment his day into work, prayer, and rest. You didn't relinquish that duty to someone else, just as you wouldn't hand off feeding your infant to a stranger if you could help it. But the clock was ticking on all of this. Within decades, an entire industry would emerge, convincing millions that what their grandmothers had done with bare hands and warm water was primitive and In April of 1861, the first shots of the American Civil War rang out at Fort Sumter in Charleston, South Carolina. Within months, young men from every state were dying in numbers unimaginable. By the end of the war, about 620,000 soldiers would be dead, more Americans than in World War I, World War II, Korea, and Vietnam combined. Yet someone had to wake first to ring those bells. The sacristan, a designated monk, rose before all others to pull the heavy rope in the bell tower. Some trained themselves to awaken through sheer discipline, while others relied on costly candle clocks. Some, as records reveal, simply stayed awake through the night, reading scripture by candle. This dilemma appeared throughout human history. The muezzin, in the Islamic world, climbed minarets at dawn to deliver the Fajr call to prayer, echoing across cities and villages. Similarly, Buddhist temple bells in Japan served as communal alarms. a massive bronze bell in Kyoto, striking 108 times on significant mornings, its sound resonating citywide. Yet all these systems depended on a chain of humans waking each other up. The muezzin had to rise before the city, the sacristan before the monastery. Someone always bore the burden of sleeplessness for the sake of others. Town criers and night watchmen across medieval cities patrolled cobblestone streets, calling out the hour and weather, their voices echoing through the night. He sets up near the battlefields, offering his services to grieving families for a fee. Holmes is not in the army. He's a private entrepreneur who sees a market in mass death. Over the course of the war, he personally embalms over 4,000 soldiers, charging families around $100 per body, equivalent to